Okay, everyone. So we'll be continuing our Module 7 on data protection for the virtual machine backups part. Uh, so this lesson we're going to divide into 8 parts. So the site recovery scenarios, data protection, workload protection needs, architecture, we have backups, restore, backup server, and component comparison. So there's not much to remember here for, especially for the exam part. But officially, there's no demonstration included in this training, but I will do some demos anyway. So let's first look at the scenarios. So we'll concentrate on the replication within Azure and now the migration scenario from on-premises. So the Azure Site Recovery works in the 3 scenarios. It's from your Hyper-V virtual machine application to Azure, or from the VMware you have, so it doesn't support VMware to Azure, or from the physical Windows and Linux machines, the physical servers we replicate them to Azure like a failover scenario. Right. Okay, and some of the benefits here, so it eliminates the need for disaster recovery sites. So if you're on-prem guy, you should remember how complicated that is to set up the uh, site recovery for failover, right? So you have to, I forgot the English term for that, but basically it's based on voting. So your machine vote on where to fail over the data to, or the application to, right? And you have to have a physical location for that. So that's why it's reduced the infrastructure cost, and it's automatically replicated to Azure based on your settings. So you can safeguard against any outage of complex workloads. Like it can replicate not just your files, but the machines. And the machines, of course, is also include the server itself, like for example, your SQL Server or Exchange Server. And extend or boost capacity. So you remember the virtual machine part, we talk about how to set up the availability sets and that. And yeah, health monitoring as well. So the data protection is divided into 3 parts. So the snapshots, so this is the managed disk snapshots. So in a development and test environment, snapshots provide a quick and simple option for backing VMs that's using managed disks. So it's a read-only full copy of your managed disk. It's stored in a standard managed disk by default. So with snapshots, you can back up your management disk at any point in time. So these snapshots exist independent of source disk and can be used to create new managed disk. And you are built based on the use size. For example, if you create a snapshot, the total managed disk is 64 gigabytes, but you only use 10, so the will only build for 10 gig. Right? And yeah, the Azure Site Recovery. So it protects your VMs from a major disaster scenario when a whole region experiences outage due to natural disaster or any sort of interruption. So you can configure your Azure Site Recovery for your VM so that you can recover your application with a single click in a matter of few minutes. So it's not really one click, it's a few click. And of course the image, right? So the managed disk also support creating a managed custom image. So you can create an image from your VHD in a storage account or directly from a VM. So this captures the image in a single try. So the image contains all the disk you have within the VM, including the OS and data disk. So you can create a new VM out of that. So you have to know something about the image versus snapshots. So if you're not familiar, so a image, we talk about it's everything about this virtual machine. Well, snapshots, it's only uh, a single disk or a single management disk. So the workloads protection need. So there are several methods to back up your virtual machine. So you can enable backup for individual VMs, or you can run the uh, Mars agent on a virtual machine, or you can back up Azure VM or to a system center DPM, data protection manager. Right? The MARS, if you remember, stands for the Azure Microsoft Azure Backup Server. Okay. So often those are new to deploying workloads in a public cloud or do not consider how they will be protect the workload once it's hosted there. This is of course the critical requirement of business continuity USLA, right? And the options for workload protection, including extend on-premises data protection solution to Azure. So in many cases, organization can extend their backup strategy to Azure by choosing from the backup solution from the marketplace, as you can see here, and using native features in Azure to enable data protection, like the Azure backup. So there are 4 steps for the when you enable the replication for Azure VM. So this is the 4 steps. So first, the site recovery mobility service extension is automatically installed on the VM, and the extension registers the VM to the site recovery, and they continuously replicate the VM. So once any disk writes are immediately transferred to cache storage account in the storage in the source location. And the second is the site recovery process in the data in the cache and send it to the target storage account or to the replica managed disk. So after the data is processed, the cache consistent recovery point are generated every 5 minutes. And the last step, it's when we initiate a failover, the VMs is creating the target resource group, target virtual network, and target subnet, etc., like how we create a virtual machine. Right. So during a failover, you can use any of the recovery point that you set based on the schedule. So this is the majorly snapshots of the options you have on virtual machine, or if you choose on premises. So there are 3 steps for you to implement the VM backup. The first is create a recovery service vault. We saw in the previous session as well. You can choose files, folders, VMs, etc., etc. And the second one is to use the portal to define the backup. So protect your data by taking snapshots of your data defined intervals, or these snapshots are known are recovery points, and they are stored in recovery service vault. So when it's necessary to repair or rebuild a VM, you can restore the VM from any of the saved recovery points. Oh, so I do forgot something here for my demo later. I have to turn on my machine first. Otherwise, it won't be able to see anything, and it takes time for the machines to boot. Right. So the third step is back up the virtual machine. Right. The VM agent must be installed on the Azure virtual machine for the backup extension to work. So however, if your VM was created from the Azure gallery, then the VM agent is already there. And to implement the restore, it's very easy. So you can select from any of the recovery points, backup items to trigger it. And you can monitor how the backup is proceeding. So Azure Backup Server, this is another method of backing up virtual machines, is to use the DPM or the Microsoft Azure Backup Server, MABS. So this method can be used for specialized workloads, like we talk about the SharePoint, Exchange, or SQL Server, right? Okay, this gives you a more flexibility and granular scheduling options for running backups. And this will be the steps. So we won't be go over this. If you're interested, you can pause and then read through that. So we're not gonna really go through this. We can go to the last slide and we're gonna jump into the demo. So this is a major comparison for the Azure Backup Agent and the Azure Backup Server. So we can compare. So majorly focused on the protect. So the Azure Backup Agent only do the files and folders. We demonstrate this, and the Azure Backup Server can do VMs, volumes, application workloads, and remember the limitation. So it's only backup 3 per day, so not application aware. So it's not this one. And file folder and volume lamp restore only, so no support for Linux. but Azure backup cannot back up Oracle workloads and always require live Azure subscription and no support for tape backup. So just remember this slide. So now we're gonna jump over to our demo here. Let me see if the machine has been turned on. So I forgot to turn them on at the beginning. Let me refresh. So it's not necessary you go to the recovery service vault to create the backup. So you can, if it's a virtual machine you want to backup, you can create from the virtual machine itself in the settings. Okay, it's running, luckily. So I'm going to show you. So one way you can do that is go to the recovery service vault, and from your recovery vault, for example this one, you can create a backup from here. Right? So we'll let you choose. It's Azure or what. So if it's on premises, you see all the options we saw earlier, right? So if it's a Azure virtual machine, we're doing here, click backup, and it will give you the option to have your policy. So you have some existing policy. So you can create a new one. You can see it's the schedule, daily, weekly, time, and time zone. So don't worry, you can manually trigger a backup, so you don't have to. If this is a practice you are doing, right, you don't have to. Okay, I have to wait for 2:30 or 11 on the 30-minute schedule. You can manually trigger that, so you don't have to worry about. So you can how many recovery snapshots you retain per day, retention tags or retention of months backup points, blah blah. You can choose all that, right? So let me close this. Oh, why do I close this? Right, I have to select one. So you can see I have only one machine here. This is the already restored machine, right? So because the physical, if I want to do that, it takes quite a while. So I have one created previously. And so you have to know that this one must be within the same region of your recovery service vault. And if a machine already being backed up, already have a backup policy, you won't see that. So let me show you that, because you see here I have only the 103 backup, right? But actually have the original machine also in the same region. I'm not able to see that because this one already create a backup policy. So this is the restored from this VM recover. But you notice you can create uh, a backup policy for the restored machine as well. So it's a backup for your backup in a way. So anyway, let's go to here. So you can also do the backup from here. If you click backups, you can see you can create from here as well, right? But it's already been created. That's why I'm unable to create anything. You can see the restore points that I have for the machine, right? And you can manually trigger the backup from here as well. So without further ado, let me just go to the so you can see two options here, right? First is the file recovery. So if you go to the file recovery, the way to do that is you choose the recovery point you have and you download the executable. So it will download one of the, shoot, I delete that. So let me go to my machine actually. So let me close this. Oops. So it will download an executable where you copy that to your machine, the machine you want to backup. And what you do is you also copy the password when you execute the application, and it will create a temporary storage for your virtual machine, and you copy all the files you need from there. Right. So you can see here I have I think it's not fully loaded yet, but yeah, this is the original file. Not original file. This is the modified file that I have. So you can see here I have this, and the already been run. So the process already been run. So executable, you can see here, downloads. this one, right? I already run that, and I'm afraid it's not available at this moment. It's past 12 hours. I don't think it's past 12 hours. So let me go to the backup. Select from the earliest I have. Uh, should I already done this one? So let me delete this first. Okay, and we do this again. Yeah, let's do this again. So this one I back up the files, but the other one I back up the virtual machine itself. So this one you can see I have this server role DNS installed, right? The other one it's done before the DNS is installed, so it really doesn't have any. Let me just wait for this to be finished. Yeah, it takes quite a few minutes. Let me just put my machine over there. So I'm gonna copy this later. Let's open the other one. Okay, it's downloaded finally. Thank you very much. So you can see here, right? This is the file that's been downloaded, the executable. So you copy this to your VM, right? So let me drag up the VM here. Let's put it as download folder again. Let me copy the passphrase. Okay. So remember here it says what is it? The script will mount the disk only for 12 hours, right? So you have to copy out your files within 12 hours, otherwise it's gone. And after you're done, please unmount the disk. If you do not unmount, the next time you run this, it will ask you to unmount first. So be aware of that. Okay. I think what tells me I didn't unmount earlier, or anyway, let it run. So we go to another virtual machine. So this one I done from the backup. So let me just download this RDP file. Right. Okay. So the other option you see in backup, it's to restore VM, right? So let's click restore VM. So I'll let you choose from any of the point as well. You choose one and you click OK. And there are two options. Either you create a new virtual machine or you replace the existing one, right? The disks. Sorry, it's not the machine you're replacing, it's a disk. So if you create a new one, it's the same process for you to create a new virtual machine. And once you're done with that, let's say I give it just a simple name. Okay. And you can click restore, right? It will just restore the machine. You can see the machine being created. But for demonstration purpose, we're not, for time-wise, we're gonna, okay, this is done. Okay, so let's go to the PC again, and you see they have two more files, two more disks, right? So we go to this one, user, my name on desktop, right? You can see the file there. And this one, I don't have the 1123, right? If you remember, so let me close that. I don't have that, all right? So that's the way you do it. And when you finish, just remember to copy the file out before you do that, and you can unmount the disk, right? So let me go to the other machines where I backed up from the original one. Okay. same mode. Right, so it's unmounted. If you, oops, this one gonna wait a few minutes. So if you go to this one, right, it close everything. Right, so it won't be immediately. So, but anyway, that disk will be gone. Right, so I'll do the backup for that, and let me go to the machine here. Cancel. So go to the server manager, and you can see the files there as well, right? Since it's a snapshots. I backuped, so you can see here, yeah. This one, of course, I backup from the one I already created. So if you go to the server manager, see, I don't have the DNS, right? Because it's installed after they modify the file. And I back this up before for the recovery point before I modify the file. So you can see it's not there for that recover. All right, so this will be our session for the virtual machine backup. So thanks for watching.